Okay, God bless everybody. Today is January 19th, 2020. I just found a dream that I had that I have got to share. I'm just going to read exactly what I dreamed and what I wrote after I dreamed it. This is from October the 26th of 2019. I'll just read it. Okay. I titled it The Jewish Media. So, dream that I had a movie collection that I had collected over many, many years. I was showing my husband the playlist that I had on marriage. I was aware that he was resistant to reconciliation and to me. The collection appeared as something like CDs stacked in rows and columns, as if in a very large case. I knew that this was my YouTube playlists. It also seemed to be all the movies I had owned, watched, or enjoyed over the years of my whole life. I was looking back through them to show him, my husband, the list on marriage, and I saw that pretty much the whole book, which the things that seem like CDs were in a big book, like if you save and collect a movie collection, and they have those little holders that you can put it in. So it's like a big book. So I saw that pretty much the whole book was glowing Israeli Antichrist blue, full of lies, programming, and deception, soul-damning brainwashing. I believe my marriage playlist was okay. The movies in it were not blue. And other playlists also that I believe began, and some other playlist also was okay, that began with an M. So I couldn't remember what the name of the playlist was, but I saw it began with an M. I believe so, and some others also. Others also were okay. Like I said, pretty much all of it was glowing Israeli Antichrist blue. But the bulk of it, especially from the past, was all toxic and loaded. I'm not going to try and fix that up or clean that up in any way. That is a message to you from the Lord for however long it stays on YouTube. It is the truth. Then I wrote this. That was the dream. And then I wrote this. I dare not change what the Lord showed me. The Jewish-controlled media, including the news and entertainment that we all have accepted as either real, natural, randomly generated in terms of having been created strictly for the purpose of being entertaining, has actually controlled, molded, shaped, constructed, and corrupted both the narrative and the way of life that exists in America and over the Western world, and all those under and coming under its influence. I don't prefer to use movie references for this reason, but it is ironic and germane to my point that these mass media productions have had the effect of bringing the whole world under the same delusion. And so I point out that if you remember Morpheus, which means change or changer, was a black man. Of course, I'm talking about the movie The Matrix, which people who talk about being awake and knowing what's going on are always quoting that movie. I choose not to quote any movies to expose the deception because they are the deception. So let me read on. So, change agents, influencers. So it is ironic for sure that Morpheus would so-called enlighten Neo, which Neo means new or newbie. And now, if someone calls you a Neo, they mean that it's a demeaning term. You're nothing, or you're a dummy. You're wet behind the ears. A neophyte, things like that, just means new. So it's ironic that this person whose name meant change, Morpheus, would be enlightening Neo, the dummy, using a TV screen. Using a TV screen to show him the real world. Showing it to him for the first time. Telling him that, in fact, the place where he thought he was standing was an illusion created by projections into his mind. This is ironic because, in actual fact, the TV, the computer, the phone, mass media has systematically, over the last 15 to 20 years, sucked us into literally nearly constant contact and access to screens. We carry it in our pockets and purses and book bags, and we give them to our children. Mass media operates solely and strictly on this principle. Perception is reality. As an addicted consumer of such distractions, the West is utterly brainwashed, such that they are thoroughly immune to the truth. They can watch the truth, hear the truth, and they can even speak a truth. And the actual meaning and correct understanding will pass them right by. How can reality be overcome by a perception? How can a people be so captured and deceived? How can the truth be so easily missed, being so far away that most will never grasp? But still, it's there to be believed all the time. There is only one word for such a thing: sorcery. I'm going to read Revelation chapter 12, verse 19. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Verse 12. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Revelation chapter 9, verse 21. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. Revelation 2, verse 7. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of God. Revelation chapter 12, verse 11. And they overcame him, Satan, by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Earlier today, I thought I wrote it somewhere, but I'll just have to try and remember it. What I talked about: perceptions, and how reality is something that has been made to seem very unreal to us. We've been told that we're small, ordinary, irrelevant, inadequate. The everyday man is seen to be as nothing. And then these other people are exalted before us via screens and fame that comes with being on those screens. And then the lives that we lead are mundane, full of sickness and sorrow. And then people go and escape on TV screens, movie screens, and try to buy, act, and pretend their way into acting out those things that they've seen on screens. Those are the people who we want to become. We go into debt to be those people, to try and be those people, to try and look like them, dress like them, live like them. And they are all a creation of a media controlled by Satan, who is a liar and a deceiver. I wish I could find what I wrote down. this. I can't find it. But really, life is very incredible. Your life is very incredible. Your being, your physical body is an incredible creation, created by an even more incredible God. The world that we live on, it's not a spinning ball wandering through a vast, unimaginably vast expanse with eons of time and millions and billions and trillions of not just miles, light years. Just like evolution. In all these trillions and trillions of years, it didn't happen. You're incredible because you were created by someone incredible that created everything you see out of nothing. And being that he is that incredible, he was even able to do that in 6 days, as he said. When we watched movies growing up all our lives, when we consumed media all of our lives, we were presented with this dark, gray, horrible world with no God and no answers. Just question on question that we look to some PhD'd experts to answer for us. We can't believe it until a PhD says it's so. So that your confidence, common sense, and ability to form your own perceptions, your own thoughts and beliefs about things was completely extinguished. And they start really early. You'll watch a movie about the destruction of the whole world. And people will be running around trying to fix this, save that, rig up some spaceship, kill some monster, and no one ever prays. God never enters into the picture. We're just out there all alone. And these things have formed our minds. But the truth is bright and incredible. And Jesus told it. Next time you read the Gospels, which I suggest you do immediately, believe the things that Jesus said. He said he came down from heaven. He said there were many mansions there. See, we can't believe anything good. The best we could hope for is someday maybe we'll win the lottery before we get too old to spend the money. All these things have been shaped in our minds by the world the devil created. That's why I don't use the Matrix or things like that. Here Morpheus is going to show him the truth on the TV and tell him where anything that he's able to see and touch and taste is not real. The Truman Show was the same type of thing. This reality altering revelation that he supposedly had. When They just got it all on its head. Where he leaves the place where the moon is close and the sun is close and God is in the heavens and there's a dome over him and he's taken care of, to go out into the big wild world where you don't know anything. They turn everything upside down. The media is all entirely full of lies, from the news down to the cartoons that you show your children. They are slowly massaging them straight to hell. And godlessness. And boy, has it worked. And it won't be turned around. Only a few will manage to find that straight, narrow place, that highway that Jesus told us about, that road that few people find, but it leads to righteousness and eternal life, and you can find it. You can't drag anybody else on there. You can tell them about it and encourage them to come. But the final decision is up to every man to choose who you will believe. And stop trusting people who tell you, oh, you can't trust your lying eyes. You have to trust me. Look around for yourself. Look at the moon. I'm going to also tell you something, because this video is going to probably get me kicked off of YouTube. But I have to do it. If Jesus had been afraid to call out or come against the Jews, we never would have had the gospel. If he allowed himself to be intimidated, we wouldn't have the letters of Paul or the witness of Paul or the revelations that God shared with him if Paul allowed himself to be intimidated by the Jews. Read Acts and his letters. They beat him, they chased him, they followed him around the Mediterranean to shut him up. Why? Who knows? Why does the devil do the things he does? Who cares? What's important is your response. The other day, I saw a video. Somebody was just out in the night sky with their regular video camera, just a regular video camera, something like this, and they pointed it at the moon. No powerful Hubble telescope worth $100 billion. Just a camera that you can buy at Best Buy. And they pointed it at the moon and zoomed in. And with my eyes, that the wonderful, marvelous Creator made for me and gave me sight in them. I am fearfully, wonderfully made. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You don't boil down to the right bone structure. You're already fearfully and wonderfully made. It'll make you even take better care of yourself, just to know that. So they zoomed in on the moon, and I could see the surface of the moon. I could see the details of the moon. And right then it hit me. That thing is close. That thing is not far away. It's right there in the sky. Something else I saw the other day got me to thinking. We're not spinning around anywhere. We're supposed to be spinning around at thousands of miles an hour and then speeding around the sun 100 times faster than that. It's as ridiculous as evolution. And all the pictures that they're sending us of the universe, guess what? They're all artist renderings, every last one of them. They don't have one picture from space. They're all just like pictures of monkey men, where they found a knuckle joint in the ground and drew a whole so-called monkey man species from a tooth. Or an ankle bone. And they're going to tell you what this person's face looked like, what their hair looked like. It's all nonsense from the father of lies. Shameless, bold-faced lies. "12 years ago, I was in Durham, North Carolina, working. I bought a DVD from a Walmart, I think. And it was about some national parks. It had like Yellowstone, and one of them was the Grand Canyon. And as I was watching it, never been to the Grand Canyon, but they were down there by the canyon walls, and I saw all these layers of sediment, and it instantly hit me. The flood did that. That didn't happen micrometer by nanometer, with 10,000 years in between every little nanometer being laid down, where just nothing moved for 100,000 years, waiting for 1 inch to form. No. There was mud slithering all over the place because God drowned the place. That's how all the fossils got there. It explains the whole thing. And they go way out of their way with these outrageous explanations to come up with evolution and geology. Ridiculous things that make absolutely no sense. And they need trillions of years to explain how all that incredible, ridiculous stuff happened. Now, if you're going to believe something that wild and ridiculous, why not read the Bible? Give it a chance. I tell you one thing, it makes a whole lot more sense. No one has ever been able to understand, let alone explain, the wonder of the human body and the incredibleness of its form, let alone its function. And for it to even be able to have beauty and joy. And you're going to take the word of some brainwashed, paid off, godless PhD. You got a PhD right here. You got a master's degree over here. And you have the most powerful computer that could ever be conceived right here. And you have all the truth that there's ever been in the pages of a King James Bible. If you don't know what's going on in the world, start there. Start here, start here, start here, and get a Bible. Because you've run out of time. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. All things are coming to a conclusion. It's time for the wretchedness of this world and the people who are responsible for it to answer to the Creator. So before my channel gets shut off, I wanted you all to know that I don't believe in the globe. I don't believe in the globe. I don't believe in evolution. Because of my own two eyes. It's been cloudy and raining for the last couple days. But I'm going to take this camera and I'm going to go as soon as it's clear and I'm going to point it at the moon and I'm going to trust my God-given gifts, the intelligence that my Creator put inside me to overcome the lies that we have been fed through the Jewish-owned media from their father, as Jesus said, the devil. Don't go hating all Jews. Don't even hate the ones that are doing this. There's no hatred, punishment, or anything that you could pour upon them that'll be worse than what they have coming. Pray for all men everywhere that they would come to the knowledge of the truth, because we all were sinners. And if you had risen to the highest levels of power in this world, you'd be doing the same thing they were doing. Making sure you stay there. It's just that simple. There's nothing especially evil about a race of people, a color, or anything about the outside of a person. Judge each man individually and by the content of their character. That's all. And God bless you, and maybe goodbye.